Welcome to the Nathan Nephew Show. Of course, I'm your host, Nathan Nephew. Here for another enjoyable, I don't know, half hour or so, whatever, 25 minutes, whatever it ends up being, of rambling. There is so much that has happened in the last week or so that I don't even know really what to talk about. Other than I do know, and I apologize. Last week I didn't get to the Fifth Amendment. That's where we're at. We're going through the Constitution every week. You've been listening to the show. You know that. I'm going to do that right up front, which is what I did before and then got some feedback. But I'm going to do it right up front just to make sure that I don't run out of time because it's hard. And I was thinking about this. And here I go rambling and not jumping right into the Constitution. But I was thinking about this, and with a show, whether it's 10 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, it's impossible to to give every topic as much attention as it deserves and as it needs. Every one of the things that I talk about, well, not everyone, but a good majority of the things I talk about, I could spend the entire show or 2 or 3 shows talking about it and expanding on it and talking about, its place in history and the effects it's going to have in the future and blah, 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 blah. My thoughts, the liberals' thoughts, your thoughts. We could spend hours on everything, but of course I can't. First of all, because you'd be bored to tears even more than you already are. And second of all, I just don't have the time. So what we need to do is we need to decide which topics are important and spend as much time on each of them as we can. Now, rather than talking about just one thing for the entire time, and I generally only get to a few different topics, but what I really hope with this show is not necessarily that I give you all of the information you'll need, because that definitely does not happen. But what I hope I do, and I'd love your feedback, talk@nathannephew.com. What I hope I do is maybe bring up some topics or some angles on topics that you hadn't thought of, or that maybe give you another way to explain to a friend that doesn't necessarily agree with us, maybe a different way to approach it. And generally, I don't probably give you the nice fluffy, all huggy type of answers that you can approach at the dinner table, but hopefully I give you at least enough so you can go do your own research. Definitely don't use me as your only source. Don't use Fox News as your only source. Don't use MSNBC as your only source. Do some of your own research. But you have to start somewhere. And hopefully I can help with that starting point on at least some of the topics I touch on. All right, let's get into the Fifth Amendment here. The Fifth Amendment, we hear about it a lot. I mentioned a few that you hear a lot about. Fourth Amendment, Second Amendment, First Amendment, Fifth Amendment. When you hear the Fifth Amendment, I plead the Fifth. What does that mean? I'm not going to answer, or I have no comment, essentially is what it means. Well, there's a bit more to it than that. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Okay, so you shall not be held for capital or infamous crime unless there is an indictment by a grand jury. So somebody, the king, can't just say, hey, you're being held for this crime. Unless, of course, it has to do with the military, land, naval forces, or militias when in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Okay, so what is this? This is double jeopardy. This does not say that you cannot be charged twice for the same crime. What this says, very directly is that you cannot be subject for the same offense twice, or for the same offense, you cannot be put in jeopardy of life and limb twice. So, the first one, literally life and limb, you could be held subject to that. The second time, you could be charged with a lesser charge of, monetary damages or something like that. But quite literally, life and limb only once for one specific charge. Nor shall be compelled in any crime or in any criminal case to be the witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So, in a criminal case, not necessarily a congressional hearing or something, but in a criminal case, you cannot be compelled, you cannot be forced to be a witness against yourself, which is why so often we see criminal cases and the defendant never takes the stand, because they cannot be forced to take the stand against themselves, or deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So they can't put you in jail, they can't kill you, they can't take your property without due process, which means they can't just arbitrarily hit you with a drone when you're sitting in a coffee shop, which we saw happen to an American citizen. That cannot happen without due process of law. And of course, if there's imminent danger, that sort of thing, we have all these caveats to it. Nor can your property be seized, your actual property, without just compensation. So if they want to put a federal highway through your backyard, they can't just put a federal highway through your backyard. They can compensate you for that backyard, and you don't have much of a say, and they say, this is ours now. Here is fair compensation for it. Yeah, right. This is market value. Okay. But I don't want to sell it, so it's actually worth more than, nope, doesn't matter. So whatever they deem is just compensation. They give you that. They take your backyard, and they plant a road in it. And I've actually seen that happen to people where they wanted to put roads in near subdivisions, and the people didn't want to get rid of their yard because they bought this nice large lot, wanting to have a large lot, and then the city, in this case, came through and said, no, we want a road here because it would be nice for these people in the giant houses. They have big houses, so property taxes, they want a road, we're putting a road in. So, you want to sell it to us? No. Okay, well, we're taking it. Here's way less than you would ever sell it for. Right. So that's not really fair. Now, but it is in the Constitution, so it is the law of the land. It's not one of those things where, well, that's not fair, we shouldn't follow that because it's not just. Well, no, I disagree. If we want to change it, we can change it. And, well, we remember the clause in the Constitution, right, that says how to change it, which is not by ignoring it and not by executive order. And it's not by a dictator just deeming that whatever he wants to do is what he's going to do because he has a pen and a phone. All right. So this moron, this absolute moron, from California, which who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that there is an anti-gun Democrat in California? And on top of that, who would have thought that this anti-gun Democrat in California knows nothing about guns? And if he does, he's acting really well.
This is a ghost gun.
A what?
This right here has ability with a .30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Wow.
30 magazine clip in half a second.
That's amazing. Now, I'll tell you, I want one of these ghost guns. I want one of these ghost guns. A 30 magazine clip in 30 seconds. Can you imagine that? A 30 magazine clip. And it has a 30 caliber clip in half a second. Wow. That's faster than, well, almost every firearm in existence. That's just amazing. 30 caliber clip and a 30 magazine clip in under half a second. So This guy, and what is his name? I want to get his name out here. I don't remember what his name is exactly. It is Kevin DeLeon of Los Angeles. Okay. He was making these statements at a press conference. He was spouting off about, some Senate bill. He's a California state senator, SB 808. And what that will do in California, because their gun laws aren't restrictive enough, and, well, murder isn't already, oh wait, no, murder is illegal there. So these gun laws will do absolutely no good. But what SB 808 would do was require all homemade firearms, regardless of when or how or what type they are. They need to be registered no matter what, all homemade firearms. And by ghost gun, which I have to tell you, I know a bit about firearms. I am not an expert, and I don't claim to be an expert, but I've heard a fair bit of the terminology, at least. I haven't heard ghost gun before. And I had to do a little bit of research, and what ghost gun is, well, or what they're claiming it is anyway, and I think it's because they had to come up with a definition after he used the words, and everyone was like, what the hell is a ghost gun? Ghost gun is a gun without a serial number, and they're talking about homemade guns, 3D printed guns and the like, that don't have serial numbers, because, as we all know, the serial number, or the micro stamping on a bullet, like they're going to require in California, which will cause firearm manufacturers to not sell firearms in California, but the serial number on the firearm is the only thing that stops most people from shooting other people in the kidneys. It's the serial number, and these ghost guns made of pure plastic, 100% pure plastic. They can go through any metal detector, and don't worry about A, that's not true, and B, I don't know of any non-metallic ammunition that would be worth a damn. So even if you get the gun, which you won't because there are metal parts, even on the Liberator, the little 3D printed gun that shot once or twice, even that had like a metal firing pin, so that will get caught in a metal detector. Even if you get the gun through a metal detector, I don't know, again, not an expert, but I don't know of any ammunition that you will get through a metal detector that would be worth a damn to do any harm, because it's not metallic and gets through a metal detector. So you get the gun through, it's worthless, it's a club. And since I can carry my laptop into an airport or whatever, that would be more useful than a 3D printed plastic gun if I wanted to do harm, because I could bonk someone over the head with it just as well, and it's a pretty hefty laptop. This is ridiculous. We see this over and over and over again. These anti-gun liberals that know nothing about firearms, but they still want to stand up and talk about them like they know something about it. They say things like Ghost Gun 30 magazine clip. In the media, where's the media? They're nowhere on this. And if they either ignore it or they run with it and make it sound like it's completely intelligent. And what does that do? The uneducated among us, nobody that listens to this show or anybody on Red State Talk Radio for that matter, but the uneducated of us, the ones that we're trying to wake up, they see it and they're like, oh, that's not good. It's a ghost gun. Oh, look, and it's black and metal. That's scary. 30 rounds of, well, what, in a half a second? 30 caliber clips in half a second? 30 magazine clip in less than half a second. That's scary, right? You know how many people you can mow down with that? And so they just believe it because they don't know any better. It's not their fault necessarily. Now, I think they should get educated on firearms and everything else that they can, but they don't know. They get fed this by the media, the people that they're supposed to be able to trust. They turn on ABC Nightly News, MSNBC, whatever, whether it's network or cable news. They're supposed to be able to trust these people, and these people act like they know what they're reporting on. And they act like they're reporting on the most important stories. So when they either ignore this or make it sound like it's completely legitimate, the people that we need to wake up just believe it. And it puts this little bug in their ear that, yeah, these guns are dangerous. And really, who needs a gun? Who needs a gun that's not registered? It seems like everybody's gun should be registered. Head over to NathanNephew.com. Send me an email, talk@NathanNephew.com. I'd love to hear the feedback. And, of course, look me up on Facebook. I will be right back.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom66.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom66.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom66.com. Go to freedom66.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom66.com.
Red State Talk Radio is All American Talk Radio.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host Cheryl for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5470. That's 800-953-5470. 800-953-5470.
The Nathan Nephew Show. Somewhat unique.
Somewhat unique?
Yes, somewhat unique.
All right, welcome back to the Nathan Nephew Show. I am Nathan Nephew. You know, this is no doubt something you've heard, but Governor Cuomo, this guy, I mean, you don't need 10 rounds to kill a deer. You remember that? I'm pretty sure that was him, and if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. This guy comes out. Well, actually, it's not even one of these things that needs to be explained. I'll just play the clip.
Their problem is not me and the Democrats. Their problem is themselves. Who are they? Are they these extreme conservatives who are right to life, pro-assault weapon, anti-gay? Is that who they are? Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York. Because that's not who New Yorkers are. If they're moderate Republicans, like in the Senate right now.
Okay, yeah, so if they're moderate Republicans, they do have a place in New York because they've just, they've consistently passed my agenda and they've done whatever I wanted because they're moderate. And by moderate, we all know that means liberal. You're either liberal or you're a right-wing extremist who does things like supports the Second Amendment, pro-life. Whether you are or not, the fact is you have the right to be pro-life, you have the right to your opinion. And then anti-gay, which really is a separate issue because I don't think that the majority of the, Christian conservative base that is pro-traditional marriage, I don't think they're really anti-gay. I don't think it's that they necessarily, they hate gay people. It's kind of like, I mean, it's the same thing as the pro-choice crowd. I don't think that the majority of people that are pro-choice are actually pro-abortion in most cases. I don't think that they're saying, yes, we should be aborting babies. I think they're saying, well, it's a mother's choice. Okay, whether you agree with that or not, that's not my point. That's a whole nother show. My point is, this anti-gay thing, he's wrong because it's not like anti-gay. It's from what I've seen, the people who have this belief that he's talking about, it's more traditional biblical marriage, man and woman sort of thing. Right or wrong, again, not the point here, but what he's saying, he's claiming that the entire state of New York, there's no place for somebody really like me, somebody who doesn't agree with the liberal ideology, somebody who pro-assault weapon, whatever the hell that means. I'd have to say, yes, I am probably pro-assault weapon. If you want to break it down and define what an assault weapon is, really doesn't matter. If it's a firearm or a weapon of any sort, I'm pro that. So I guess I have no place in New York, which is fine. I don't want to live there. I don't want to pay their, 10% state income tax, whatever it is. I'm not interested in that. I'm in Michigan. I'm pretty happy in Michigan. Not the most conservative state, but I can be pro assault weapon and no one tries to kick me out. The governor, Rick Snyder, who by the way is not pro gun at all, and he's a Republican, but he hasn't tried to kick me out yet. He hasn't said that I'm not welcome here. Now, what is this guy saying? Because the people that are going to bring the money in, the business owners who, unless some cronyism turns them liberal, they're generally conservative. They're generally pro-constitution, pro-freedom, pro-capitalism, this sort of thing. He doesn't want that. And to attract these sorts of people, don't they have these no income tax things to get businesses in there and, or no business tax or whatever it is, whatever they're doing? What is this guy trying to do? He's friends with Bloomberg, de Blasio. They're all buddies, and they all have the same thought process of, we are better than you. If you disagree with us, there's no place for you here. We don't want you here. We're not going to try to debate you on any of this. In fact, we're just going to destroy you, besmirch your name, call you a bad person, tell you don't belong here, make you feel like an outcast. Now, I'll tell you what. If you're in New York, surrounded by all this liberal garbage, and you feel like an outcast, that's something to be proud of. If you're in New York, and you look around and you say, you know what? And especially the city, New York City, you look around, you're like, I really fit in here. You know what? All of these people, we're on the same wavelength. We really agree. We're right. I see it, buddy. I see it. We're on the same page here. There's something wrong with you. I say if you're there and you feel like you don't fit in and you feel like there's not a place there for you, good job. That's how it should be. You're on the right side of history on that one. I don't understand what Cuomo is trying to do with a statement like this other than kind of let out his true colors a little bit. And because of this, Sean Hannity, and this was a funny thing on his radio show, he talks all big. He's like, well, I'm moving. And then the media blows up with Sean Hannity threatens to move New York. He's moving out of New York. He's moving. Where's he going? Texas, Florida. Where is it? They have no income tax. Which one? And then, of course, everybody knows, no, Sean Hannity's not really moving right now because he has a pretty cushy job there in New York working for Fox News. His radio show he could probably do from anywhere, and I don't know how Fox News works, but of course he has to backtrack and say, well, yeah, my wife and I have talked and we plan on moving, after people don't rely on me on the show anymore. We're going to move. Yeah, we are, but not now. It's going to be later. When I retire, probably I'm going to move. So that was kind of funny. Whatever. I understand what he's saying. His point was, there are people like him who are there creating jobs. He has people that work for him. He creates jobs. They're the people that are going to leave. Rush Limbaugh years ago left New York. Now, I don't know why he left New York. He claims, taxes and things and the weather and whatnot. But when you say people aren't welcome, the governor of your state says you're not welcome. What incentive is there to stay? Especially when it's some of the highest taxes in the country. And regulation, you can't get a big soda. You can, but, they try to ban these sorts of things. You have a hard time finding salt in New York City. Why would you stay? Anyway, just about out of time. I remind you, head over to nathannephew.com, myparentsopencarry.com. Check out my book. Pick up a copy of that and talk at nathannephew.com. See you next week.